What's up, guys, and welcome back to my girlfriend's dad's garage. And today,
you're gonna love my nuts.
Okay, maybe I should have set that up a little bit better. Because you see, today we are diving in on everybody's favorite nut-loving, absorbent infomercial king, Vince Offer, otherwise known as the ShamWow guy. You might have thought this guy was just a Jew from Brooklyn who came out to LA to make it big in comedy, but found himself slinging products on infomercials. And if you were one of those people, well, you'd be right, because that's pretty much exactly what happened. But it goes a little deeper and a lot weirder than that. Vince Offer has led one fucking crazy ass life. Making this video took me through a lot of emotions. Sometimes baffled, sometimes inspired, sometimes scared. But most of the time, baffled. So let's get our ShamWows, grab a baggie of chopped up nuts, and let's dive in, because today we are exploring the crazy life of the ShamWow guy. Ofer Shlomi was born in Beersheba, Israel, but as a young boy moved with his family to Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. At a young age, he changed his very Israeli-sounding name to something more Americanized, Vince Offer, because he was looking for something less foreign. He took his first name and used it as his last. While a lot of celebrities changed their ethnic-sounding names to sound a little bit more mainstream, Vince got the idea of using his first name as his last from his favorite actor, Ruffalo Pastaface. He notes that as a young boy, he became fascinated with TV sales personalities like Crazy Eddie. And after watching this clip, you can clearly see the impact somebody like Eddie had on Vince's later TV persona.
Hold the mistletoe, because it's a Crazy Eddie Christmas blowout blitz. Crazy Eddie's got everything you could possibly need for Christmas, and it's all on sale now. TVs, VCR, stereo systems, telephones.
You'll see more of what I'm about to say later in the video, but Vince has a very crude sense of humor. He attests this sort of shock humor to his growing up in Brooklyn. I was actually born in New York, and I lived in Brooklyn as an adult for a little bit, so I think I know what he means when he talks about that good old New York humor. Hey everybody, look at that guy's dick! What? Well, now that you moved to Brooklyn, you need to learn how to take a joke. What are you talking about? Come on, it's just a little dick joke. How did you get in my bathroom? What? Ah, Brooklyn. With stars in his eyes and dicks in his hand. Wait. Oh, no, sorry. I meant dick jokes in hand. Vince dropped out of high school and moved to Los Angeles to make it big in Tinseltown. To make ends meet, he took a cue from Crazy Eddie and landed his first job slinging products at a flea market. But product slinging was not what Vince came to Los Angeles to do. He came to show us his dick. Jokes. I don't know, man. I'm starting to like these dick jokes. Maybe those guys in Brooklyn had a point. Initially, he made skits and put them on public access. Back in the day, there was no YouTube, so that was pretty much the only way people were able to get their sort of films or sketches onto a screen. For these sketches, he often collaborated with the Academy Award-nominated actress Juliette Lewis, his brother, Lightfield Lewis. Juliet and their father, actor Jeffrey Lewis, are pretty well-known Scientologists, so I can assume that Vince found his way to Scientology through his friendship with Lightfield. Oh yeah, did I mention that Vince was a Scientologist at one point? Let me explain this other stuff, and I promise I'll get back to that. Because of the public access sketches, a writer from hit TV show In Living Color contacted Vince and asked him to write some sketches for them. In total, he wrote 10 sketches, but unfortunately, they never picked up any of them. Instead of shelving the sketches, though, he got the idea to just film them and combine them into one movie that he called Underground Comedy Movie. Now, the people at In Living Color probably didn't use the sketches because they were pretty bad. I was only able to find a few clips from the original Underground Comedy Movie online, and maybe the ones I didn't find are truly comedic masterpieces, but between the clips that I'm about to show you and the reviews I've read of this movie online, I'm gonna go on a limb and say they are not. You be the judge.
Rolling down Sunset Strip, looking for a dumb bimbo to sit on my tip.
Thanks for coming down, all right? By the way, did I mention I'm a member of SAG? Yeah.
Look at those girls, or are they guys? One of them is looking at me like he wants to try me out for size.
Still, I want him.
Geez, I don't remember a kid sweeping the floors in the background.
Hey, that was me, man. I was sweeping the streets for the city.
Look at those Crips, look at those Bloods. Now I know why I go cop my drugs. What's with these guys? Get you straight when they're doing drive-bys.
So while being bad, these sketches also found a way to be very, very offensive. But I guess that's kind of the point, because Vince is very anti-establishment, and he fights the man by being very non-PC.
Because the culture is too PC right now. You guys gotta chill out with all this freaking. You can't say
Too
this.
PC about
You
everything.
can't say that.
Right.
You can't.
He was
I
the
mean,
first guy on
relax.
national television saying you're gonna love his nuts.
Trust me, I know we're white and we're a little privileged. I get it. This movie got hit with bad reviews because it's very polarizing. It's not because it's a bad movie. It just that we had semen, we had supermodels taking a dump, we had Miss America bag lady pageant. It was very
It's a skit movie, just so you know.
elite Hollywood.
Right.
People who wouldn't invite us to parties would not like this movie. Okay, Hollywood parties. I mean.
In principle, I actually love this. Do your thing, man. But in reality, you have to be funny. Here's just a list of the titles of the sketches that were included in the movie. We have Supermodels Taking a Dump, Boob Watch, Virgin Hunter, and The Adventures of Dick Man, with the three characters being lesbian number 1, lesbian number 2, and of course, lesbian number 3. You might be thinking, Morgan, he was in his 20s, him and his buddies were just trying to make it big in Hollywood. Can't a guy just dress up in blackface? Well, I don't know about that last part. It was a very different time. But if you were thinking it was just Vince and his buddies sticking around, you'd sort of be wrong. Vince had a decent amount of money putting this thing together, and he actually had a number of high-profile actors involved in the project. The movie starred Offer, comedian Bobby Lee before he made it onto Mad TV, legendary guitarist Slash, and somehow, Academy Award nominated actors Karen Black and Michael Clark Duncan. Michael was nominated for his performance in Green Mile, where he played John Coffey, a mentally challenged African-American man who was wrongly convicted and sentenced to death for the murder of 2 white girls in the Deep South in 1935. It is one of the most powerful performances ever put to cinema. The movie came out in 1999, the same year that underground comedy movie initially had its premiere, in which Michael played the role of gay virgin. How in the world did this man go from starring alongside Tom Hanks in one of the most dramatic movies ever made to starring alongside Joey Buttafuco in one of the worst reviewed movies ever made? Oh, sorry, you don't know who Joey Buttafuco is? Allow me to explain. So in 1992, Long Island-based auto body shop worker Joey Buttafuco was engaged in an affair with a 15-year-old named Amy Fisher. One night, Amy went to the home of Joey and his wife, Mary Jo, who answered the door. When Mary Jo asked her to leave, Amy pulled out a gun and shot Mary Jo in the face. Somehow, Mary Jo survived and, of course, pressed charges against Amy. The media took the story and ran, nicknaming Amy Long Island Lolita. The case quickly turned to Joey, who, while he didn't encourage or know anything about the shooting, was stooping a 15-year-old girl. While he initially attempted to convince the court that he had nothing to do with Amy, he later pled guilty and served 4 months in jail. Nowadays, people who get caught doing this get canceled. But back in the 90s, you'd get to star in a movie with Slash. I don't know, man. This guy seems a little bit unqualified to star in this movie. If he couldn't even convince a jury that he wasn't stooping a 15-year-old girl, how did Vince expect him to convince us in the role of Sonny? Joey is clearly unqualified. Casting Joey Buttafuco in a Hollywood movie would be like electing a reality TV star to be president. Hey, Filming Morgan, how you doing? Oh, hey, Editing Morgan, what's going on? I'm good, man. Hey, I talked to the other Morgans. I have some bad news. We're gonna have to veto that Trump joke. Really? Why? Well, now that he's leaving office, we got a letter from literally fucking everybody saying that Trump jokes were done until nauseam for about 5 years. So now that he's gone, they never want to see any Trump joke ever again. Ah, damn. Yeah, sorry, man. Well, would it be cool if I did some dick jokes? Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Okay, so the film had initial screenings, but it was panned pretty hard. But you knew that. Vince wanted to do reshoots, but unfortunately by 2002, he was bankrupt and home video distribution was shelved. But bankruptcy didn't stop Vince from filing 3 separate lawsuits related to this movie. Here are their stories. The first lawsuit was against movie directors the Farrelly brothers, in which Vince claimed that they lifted 14 unique scenes from his movie for their eventual hit, There's Something About Mary. Vince even gave them a sarcastic shout out at the end of the movie, asking them to return what he claims as a promotional original copy of the movie that they got their hands on, the copy that Vince assumed is what they used to lift those scenes. The Farrelly brothers claimed they had never heard of Vince, and Vince eventually lost the case. The second suit involved Playboy Playmate and champion gold digger Anna Nicole Smith, in which Vince claimed that Smith was slated to be in the movie, but only days before dropped out due to her fear of tarnishing her reputation. Vince won this suit, but they settled out of court. Could you imagine making a movie so bad that Anna Nicole Smith is worried about her reputation being affected by it? Mrs. Smith wasn't exactly known for her squeaky clean reputation. This would be like Cardi B not wanting to be in a music video because she'd be worried that the video would sexually exploit her. Now finally, I mentioned earlier that Vince collaborated with Lightfield Lewis, who is a member of a pretty prominent Scientology family. Now, I'm connecting some dots here, but Vince at one point was a Scientologist. And I'm guessing that Vince's relationship with Lightfield had something to do with it. While he was trying to get the movie off the ground, he still worked at the flea market slinging all of those products. As his business there grew, he ended up employing 40 different Scientology friends to work at the booth with him. But when he had to take time off to do those reshoots, he hired 2 of the friends to take over the day-to-day operations, making a deal that they would still pay him $1.15 for every slap chop sold. Well, according to Vince, they pocketed the money. And when he went to complain to the overlords over at El Ron's place, the 2 men allegedly started a smear campaign against Vince, in which they claimed the movie was bad art, which probably isn't so far off. When in front of the court of Scientology, Vince stated his case against the 2 men to try and get his shares back. And yes, that's right, Scientology has their own court, which, by the way, is not a real court. When the Scientologist court deemed him a crook, he took the case to an actual court. The case over at the Church of Scientology was dismissed along with the case at the actual court. Hey, Editing Morgan, can I do jokes about Scientology? Editing Morgan?
Oh, sorry, bro. I was just looking up some more dick jokes.
Oh, nice, dude. He eventually earned enough money to do those reshoots, which of course led to the completion and release of the movie. And by release, I mean he rented out a theater with his own money on Melrose in Los Angeles and stood outside trying to get people to come in and watch. That didn't work. No one saw the movie. But one night, while watching late-night Girls Gone Wild videos, he had an idea. He thought he could employ a similar marketing scheme for his own movie. If you're too young, you might not know what Girls Gone Wild is. This guy, Joe Francis, would go to crazy parties at spring break events and film girls doing lewd and sexual stuff on camera, like wet t-shirt contests and flashing. Because there really wasn't the internet, it became very famous for running late-night infomercials on channels like Comedy Central. And Mom, if you're listening, I of course did all of this research on Wikipedia and other trusted sources, and in no way stayed up until 3 a.m. watching those infomercials where girls would show me their boobies. Vince made his own infomercial with the trailer for the movie, put it on Comedy Central at around 2 a.m., and it was a hit. It sold 50,000 copies over the phone and another 50,000 copies in store. While the movie was successful, he knew the crude nature of the humor kept his audience a little bit too niche. So he started his plan to parlay the success of the movie into a career in peddling cleaning products.
Put it on DRTV on Comedy Central, and it was a hit. Sold it. And then I said, forget Comedy Central. Let's put something that we can sell everywhere. And that was ShamWow later on.
Wait, if he wanted to be a comedian and filmmaker and he wanted to reach a broader audience, wouldn't he just make another comedy movie that would maybe be a little bit less crude? How was his first thought to completely switch entire industries? I get his entrepreneurial spirit made him want to tackle a larger demographic, but one thing is a comedy movie and the other thing is a cleaning product. That would be like a dentist thinking he was being too niche by only working on teeth, but instead of opening up, I don't know, a hospital, he went and started his own grocery store chain. Like, yeah, it's definitely more broad, but like, they're not related in any way. He noticed people selling kind of like a chamois, but knew that most of the people at the flea markets themselves didn't have very good marketing skills. So he thought if he took a product similar to their own, gave it a name and a brand, he could do some real damage. Finally, all those years slinging products were about to pay off. Big time. Armed with this new product, his selling skills that he garnered by idolizing guys like Crazy Eddie and working for years as a barker at these swap meets, along with his comedic chops he gained for years of making sketches and movies in Hollywood, he presented us with what CNBC called the greatest as-seen-on-TV product of all time. I give you the commercial in its entirety that changed Vince's and all of our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the ShamWow.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry. This is for the house, the car, the boat, The RV. ShamWow holds 20 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. It just does the work. Why do you want to work twice as hard? Doesn't drip. Doesn't make a mess. Wring it out. You wash it in the washing machine. Made in Germany. You know the Germans always make good stuff. You can cut it in half. Use one as a bath mat. Drain your dishes with the other one. Use one as a towel. Olympic divers, they use it as a towel. Look at that, completely dry. Put a wet sweater, roll it up. It dries your sweaters. Here's some cola. Wine, coffee, cola, pet stains. Not only is the damage going to be on top, there's your mildew. That is going to smell. See that? The most absurd. We're going to do this in real time. Look at this. Put on the spill, turn it over without even putting any pressure. 50% of the cola right there. You follow me, camera guy? The other 50%, the color starts to come up. No other towel is going to do that. It acts like a vacuum. And look at this, virtually dry on the bottom. See what I'm telling you? ShamWow, you'll be saying wow every time.
I can't live without it. I just love it.
Oh my gosh, I don't even buy paper towels anymore.
If you're going to wash your cars or any kind of vehicle, you'd be out of your mind not to own one of these.
All I can say is ShamWow.
You're going to spend $20 every month on paper towels anyway. You're throwing your money away. The mini ShamWows are for everything, for everyday use. This lasts 10 years. This lasts a week. I don't know, it sells itself. The ShamWow sells for $19.95, but you get one for the house, one for the car, two for the kitchen and bathroom. But if you call now, within the next 20 minutes, because we can't do this all day, we'll give you a second set absolutely free. So that's 8 ShamWows for $19.95. Comes with a 10-year warranty. Here's how to order.
Okay, let's break this down. The commercial initially got popular mostly because of this line.
Made in Germany. You know the Germans always make good stuff.
It turns out he wasn't Lugan. When he initially had the idea to make the product, he needed a place that could make it in bulk for cheap. Somehow he found a factory in Germany that could make the order. He hopped on a flight to Germany and collected what would become the first batch of ShamWows. How ironic that a Jew would willingly go to a factory in Germany in order to get a job done in mass. Vince quickly became an icon for his one-liners and spiky hair, which led to countless parodies online, including this rap DJ parody.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel.
As for the spiky hair, that's actually not how Vince wears it normally. He was quoted as saying, "I was thinking about people at 2 a.m. and needed to wake them up." I know he didn't mean it like this, but could you imagine being in your bed and he's also in your bed with that hair? It would for sure wake me up. Fucking Jesus. And do you think this was just a fun gimmick that Vince did for a little bit of side cash? Well, you'd be wrong, because according to himself, Vince sold over 100 million ShamWows.
Should he get on Cameo? Every star is on Cameo, but Vince doesn't. I don't know if he needs the money.
Oh, Cameo. No, Cameo. I sold 100 million ShamWows. What I need a freaking $2,000.
By the way, he
and remember, he's not just the spokesperson for this product. He's the creator and producer of it, meaning he will make the lion's share of that money. Wow, 100 million ShamWows? The commercial said
ShamWow holds 20 times its weight in liquid.
And if each ShamWow weighs about 2.5 ounces, that means every sold ShamWow combined would be able to hold up to 22 million gallons of liquid. Or not.
ShamWow holds 20 times its weight in liquid.
At least that's what the company used to claim, but not anymore.
ShamWow holds 12 times its weight in liquid.
Not so fast. Here's yet another claim.
ShamWow holds 10 times its weight in liquid.
Make up your mind, ShamWow.
Originally 20 times, then 12 times, then 10 times. Is this just going to keep getting less and less absorbent? Get the ShamWow. Now, holding -3 times its weight in liquid. After selling way too many ShamWows, Vince caught the entrepreneurial itch. And the only way to scratch it is with blades. Sort of. I mentioned this earlier, but another product that Vince hawked at these flea markets was sort of a thing where you'd be able to put food underneath some blades and you'd be able to hit the blade and it would kind of chop it up and mix it up and, sorry, I'm actually not doing a very good job explaining this. I wonder if there was someone who took that item, branded it, and made an infomercial explaining it.
Hi, it's Vince with Slap Chop. You're going to be in a great mood all day because you're going to be slapping your troubles away with the Slap Chop. Now, this tuna, looks boring. Stop having a boring tuna. Stop having a boring life. Time to make breakfast. Breakfast to go. You're gonna love my nuts. Watch this. Almonds. The reason you're gonna slap away every day is because it's so easy to clean. 1, 2, and pops open like that, like a butterfly. Bacteria gets in the food. All the stores have this. You can't clean it. You can't open this up. It's worthless. Forget about it. Now take the onions with the skin. All right, this is making you cry, making me cry. All right, life's hard enough as it is. You don't want to cry anymore. You hit it like this. guys, we're gonna make America skinny again, one slap at a time.
It's easy, you just got one hand and chop.
Now here's the deal, when you buy the slap chop, we're gonna give you the Grady for cheese. White cheese, yellow cheese, in the container. Comes with a twister. And watch this, tacos, fettuccine, linguine, martini, bikini. Look at that, comes with 2 blades, just bang it. The slap chop sells for $29.95, but if you call now, within the next 20 minutes, because you know we can't do this all day, you're gonna get the Grady absolutely free.
So yeah, it's pretty much the same shtick as the ShamWow, but while he was a little bit more tame in his first commercial, by the time the slap chop came around, he went full underground comedy movie. The most infamous line from the commercial being,
"You're gonna love my nuts."
Gross. Okay, moving on. The ShamWow guy's street cred goes way beyond as seen on TV products. Because Vince has a surprisingly large impact on hip-hop? In order to promote his new album, Eminem thought it would be funny if Vince made a commercial in the style of ShamWow for his album Recovery. And it actually slaps. And chops.
Hey, it's Vince with Eminem's new album, Recovery. You're gonna be clapping when you hear Eminem rapping. Now look at this. MP3 players are boring. Stop having a boring life!
Noting Vince's success jumping from the entertainment industry to household products, after this ad came out, Eminem announced the release of a new line of products, including Slim Shady Shades and the Stand Fan. Vince even inspired the Dog Father himself, as seen here for his verse on Katy Perry's California Girls, where he sampled a popular line from the Grady section of the Slap Chop commercial.
Fettuccine, linguine, martini, bikini.
Bikinis, martinis.
It was reported later that Snoop wanted to sample the line not because he was a fan of Vince and his commercials, but rather thought fettuccine, linguine, martini, bikini were just different strands of weed that Vince was selling. Let me get a hit of that fettuccine linguine. Sometimes a ShamWow just can't hold any more liquid. And sometimes that can happen to a person too. Alcohol. I'm talking about alcohol. Vince's success, both in fame and finances, unfortunately led him down a pretty typical path of partying and alcohol. At one point, Vince hired a day-to-day manager to run the company, which looked after all of the products. This allowed him to be more hands-off with the business and more hands-on with hookers. And by hands-on, I mean literally putting his hands on a prostitute and beating her senseless. The summary of this story is that while partying in Miami Beach, Vince found a prostitute who will remain nameless in this video for privacy purposes, took her back to his hotel, and while they were engaging in some kissing, the prostitute clenched down on his tongue. He didn't know how to get her off of him, so he started to beat the shit out of her. The police were called, and crime photos and headshots were taken for both people involved. The photos went viral and led to the now infamous Gawker article, ShamWow Guy Beats Up Cannibal Hooker. Not the best look for a TV salesman. There's a lot of easy jokes that could be made about the ShamWow Guy getting into a fight with a hooker. And here are mine in 3, 2, 1. ShamWow? More like Sham-Pow. You could use a regular old towel to clean up that blood, or you could use a ShamWow. It seems as if he took Slap Chop less as the title of one of his products and more as an instructional guide in self-defense. First you slap, then you chop. It was reported that the hooker did in fact love his nuts. The story spread like wildfire, and Vince became the washed-up laughingstock of the internet. But in sort of a touching turn of events, Vince really took the opportunity to grow as a person. He even said the incident saved his life. He went on to get married, have a kid, and has pretty much been out of the headlines ever since. He had a bit of a Hollywood redemption arc, as he would go on to appear as himself in a number of movies, including Jack and Jill, Deadpool, and Iron Man 3. You know, for someone who's at the doorstep of Hollywood for so long with no real invite inside, it's kind of cool to see somebody like that end up in these huge blockbuster movies. I don't think it's the way he thought he'd do it, but he's been in more MCU movies than you or I have. Unless if Ruffalo Pastaface happens to be a fan of this channel. In that case, congratulations, you've been in a number of them. I guess the name change really did work, Mark. Speaking of the MCU, Vince collects Oscar-worthy actors for his movies like Thanos collects Infinity Stones. You see, Vince had one more movie up his gauntlet. In 2013, Vince released an underground comedy movie follow-up/remake, Inappropriate Comedy. The movie stars Michelle Rodriguez, Lindsay Lohan, Rob Schneider, and Academy Award winning actor Adrian Brody as Flirty Harry, a comedic spoof on the Clint Eastwood movie Dirty Harry. But get this time, he's gay.
Go ahead. Make me gay.
Vince is truly the Thanos of Hollywood. Well, actually, Josh Brolin's the Thanos of Hollywood, but you know what I mean. But like Thanos, Vince had one obstacle he couldn't overcome.
I am inevitable. And I am
That's right, Vince got the better of himself and insisted on making another crude for crude's sake movie. And like its predecessor before, the movie was completely panned. And I did watch it, and it sort of deserved the panning. People have cited the movie for being immature. Because of course it is. Flirty Harry actually premiered in Underground Comedy Movie in 1999, and he still used the same character 20 years later. What do you expect? Most recently, Vince is selling ShamWow masks for the COVID-19 pandemic, and let's just say he's not letting go of that crude, maybe racist, probably racist, definitely racist humor anytime soon.
Those other masks you see on TV are made in China. I love Chinese people too, but come on, quality-wise, go with the USA.
Because the one thing I want to put on my face during a pandemic is something that will absorb droplets and keep them there. So that, my friends, is the roller coaster that is Vince Offer. He's wacky, he's in your face, he's definitely a bit slimy, but honestly, I really respect this dude. He's an immigrant who literally found the American dream. When he wanted to take his comedy career to the next level, he wrote, produced, and directed 2 movies starring huge actors, even when Hollywood turned its back on him. When he wanted to take the sale of his products from flea markets to the next level, he went out and created some of the most iconic as-seen on TV products of all time, becoming a multi-millionaire and icon in the process. And when he wanted to take his relationship with a hooker to the next level, well, she almost bit his tongue off and he proceeded to beat the shit out of her. But who hasn't? Okay, hopefully all of us haven't, and that is a pretty shitty thing to do. But all a person can do is take their punishment and learn from it, and it looks like Vince has. And when I say Vince got to the level of success he did because of hard work, I mean it. In that same CNBC interview, Vince said that while him and his friends would go shovel snow for neighbors, while his friends would go home for dinner, he would stay there until 10 p.m. to make extra cash. Also, did you notice in the background of the different testimonial sections in the commercial, you can see Vince doing the pitch to random passerbys. This guy is not an overnight success. He has done the ShamWow pitch thousands of times before you or I ever saw it, and it totally paid off. And when given the opportunity to take his product to the South American market, he didn't just get a Spanish-speaking guy to dub over the commercial for him. He went out and learned Spanish and re-recorded the commercial himself.
Hola, soy Vince con ShamWow. Estarás diciendo wow cada vez que usas este toalla.
Vince is not perfect. I dare say he's pretty fucked up. But as I did my research for this video, every time I read an article about his involvement with Scientology, or his crazy work ethic, or his ridiculous fucking movies, or even his troubles with the law, all I could think was, you're gonna love my nuts. And you know what? If by nuts he means insane, then you're right, Vince. I really do love your nuts. Alright guys, that's the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to talk with me like in the comments, leave a comment. I'm going to respond to pretty much everybody. If you want to see more of this stuff, subscribe. It would really help me out. Thanks for your support, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Peace.